You are listening to the Central Indiana Sports Report, episode 198.1, our daily update on high school, college, and professional sports in Central Indiana with a little bit of major national sports news. Like, for example, lots of college basketball coming up the rest of March. Anything that would be of interest to Central Indiana sports fans.
You're listening to the Central Indiana Sports Report with your host, Greg Mengelt.
Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. Whenever you've chosen to listen to the Central Indiana Sports Report, we thank you for spending part of your day with us. Today is March 8th, 2025. It's a Friday, so it's another day for the Central Indiana Sports Report. I'm your host, Greg Mengelt, and I love Central Indiana sports. Coming to you today from headquarters in Jeffersonville, producer Susie is in the control room. Coming up, we have Friday's boys basketball local sectional semifinal results, plus Purdue and Ball State basketball in action, and IU women playing in the Big Ten tournament, along with some college baseball, softball, and volleyball. But first, I'm going to ask you to please go subscribe to our YouTube channel. Just search Central Indiana Sports Report. It's easy to find. Even if you're already subscribed at Amazon, Apple, SoundCloud, or Spotify, please go to YouTube and subscribe to our channel. Thank you. Also, earlier Saturday, we released our boys sectional semifinal scoreboard show with scores from across the state and details from local sectionals, including interviews with Madison Grant head coach Josh Hendrickson after the Argyle's dramatic win, and APA assistant coach Mike King, whose Jets continue their historic season into Saturday's sectional championships. Of course, we start our scoreboard with high school boys basketball and the sectional semifinals. We're going to start tonight in Class A. Sectional 57 at Broad Ripple. Liberty Christian and Anderson Prep both got wins to set up Saturday's sectional championship game and a rematch of Liberty's 59-57 win over the Jets on December 20th. The one everyone has been looking forward to. Liberty beat Tinley 57-34 to improve to 16-8 on the year. They outscored Tinley 24-7 in the third quarter. Kendrick Martin led the Lions with 23 points. On Saturday, they will play for their fourth straight sectional championship and their 10th in the last 14 years. On the other hand, crosstown rival Anderson Prep will be playing for its first sectional championship ever. On Friday, they clinched their first 20-win season. APA led 67-52 with 3:41 left in the game. Marcus McLean led the way with 24 points, Lincoln Fathauer 18, and Cameron Anderson 16. Can't wait to see what happens in that one at Broad Ripple on Saturday night. Sectional 55 at Southwood, it'll be Northfield against Daleville in the championship. Northfield had lost 9 of its last 11 games coming into the postseason, but now they've won 2 in a row in the postseason, beating Cowan 56-31. They outscored Cowan 19-4 in the third quarter and led 43-16 after 3 quarters. Carter Rogers finished with 16 points, Jake Penny with 13. Then Daleville held on to beat Westdale 68-56. Daleville is 9-15 entering Saturday's sectional championship game. They haven't won a sectional since 2009. Hunter Sahina led the Broncos with 33 points. In Class 2A, Sectional 40 at Blackford, number 1 Wapahani held off Blackford 63-54 in a battle of the Mideastern Conference champions against the CIC champions. Wapahani, of course, is also the defending semi-state champion. They're now 24-1 on the season. The Raiders were led by 25 points from Camden Bell. Blackford got 20 points from freshman Mari Leggett and 17 from Gage Baker in his final game in a great career at Blackford. And in the second game was the most dramatic game of the night. Madison Grant trailed 32-15 at the half. It was down 24 points in the third quarter. Brock Barnhart led a comeback and hit a 15-footer with 2 seconds left to lift Madison Grant past rival Alexandria 54-52. Madison Grant's now 12-12 on the season. Barnhart, who has been incredible late in the season and in the 2 games in the sectional, finished with 23 points to lead all scorers. Xander Gillespie added 13. Alexandria was led by Bryson Eckler and Cam McAtee, who scored 12 points apiece. Again, I spoke with Madison Grant head coach Josh Hendrickson after the game Friday, and that is on our sectional scoreboard show that we released earlier Saturday morning. Sectional 39 at Frankton is where I was, and it was 2 good ones. Tipton beat Sheridan 59-54. The Blue Devils are 18-6 and will play Saturday night against Frankton for their 4th straight sectional championship. Grady Carpenter led the Blue Devils with 29 points, 9 rebounds, and 5 assists. Sheridan season in 16-6. They were led by Caleb Wright's 14 points in his final game as a Blackhawk. And Frankton beat Lapel 61-49. Lapel beat Frankton 61-50 in the opener. So complete turnaround for the Eagles. Their 13th win of the season. And on Saturday, they will play Tipton for their first sectional championship since 2019. Brady Carmack led the Eagles with 27 points and 8 rebounds. He joined me and Michelle Garman and Ryan Van Skyok on our special report from the Frankton sectional, also released earlier Saturday. Joey Wright had 14 points and Trey Bennett 13 points and 12 rebounds and really dominated the second half for Frankton. Lapel season ends at 18-6. Also, their 12-game winning streak came to an end. Bodie Judge had 18 points, Brody Judge 14 in their final games at Lapel. Tipton defeated Frankton 59-50 on December 7th. Of course, we also spoke with Cliff Hawkins, Grady Carpenter, Sam Quigley, Brent Brobston, and Lapel head coach Kevin Cherry on that special report from Frankton. Sectional 38 at Wabash, it was number 4, Manchester 71-46 over Rochester. Manchester's now 21-2 and has won 21 of its last 22 games. The Squires held Rochester to 11 first-half points and led 32-11 at the half. Gavin Benton scored 21 points and went over 2,000 for his career at Manchester. Ethan Hendricks had a game-high 23 points. He was 5 for 5 from behind the three-point line. Rochester was led by Bryce Bowers, 14 points. Manchester will play for its first sectional championship since 1995 on Saturday against the Oak Hill Golden Eagles, who beat Lewis Cass 55-46. Oak Hill's now 17-6 on the year. RJ Sugar had a game-high 23 points and hit 3 big three-pointers in the final 9 minutes of the game. Jace Tonigal had 12 points, 7 assists, and 5 rebounds in the win. Cass was led by 13 points from Brennan Dieter. And, of course, Manchester beat Oak Hill 76-36 very, very early in the season. It'll be interesting to see how that one comes out. We move to Class 3A, Sectional 24 at Newcastle. It was Delta 49, Yorktown 39. Delta's second win over their rivals this season. Delta is now 15-7 and will go for its 3rd straight sectional championship on Friday. Delta scored 23 of its 49 points in the third quarter, and Bronson Edwards had 11 of his 20 points in the third. Newcastle also beat Connorsville 61-41, so it'll be Delta at Newcastle for the sectional championship. On Saturday, Delta beat Newcastle at home 58-46 on Valentine's Day. Sectional 23 at Logansport, it'll be 2 teams that haven't won a sectional championship in a long, long time. Logansport hasn't won one since the single class days of 1996. Maconaquah's last sectional championship came in 2000. Logansport also had a turnaround a lot like Frankton. The Berries lost to Peru 71-42 in the season opener, then beat 3-time defending champion Peru 71-57 in Friday's sectional semifinal. Logansport is 8-15 on the season. Mechanical is 19-5 after beating Northwestern 74-49, surprisingly easy. The Braves only beat Northwestern by 2 points in the regular season. Mechanical, however, in this one scored the first 16 points of the game. Josiah Ball scored 23 points, and A.J. Kelly finished with 19 points. He was 9 for 13 from the field with 5 steals, 4 assists, and 3 rebounds. Sectional 22 at Belmont, it was New Haven 71, Norwell 49, and Marion 77, Heritage 60. So it'll be Marion against New Haven for the sectional championship on Saturday night. New Haven's 13-10. Marion is 13-11. In the win over Norwell, Jadrian Izell had 24 of his 30 points in the second half. And for Marion, Mari Rogers finished with 18 points, Tim Jones 17, Jadion Smith 16, and Logan Barnes 13. By the way, Tim Jones may be the most consistent scorer in the entire area this season. Seems like he has 15 to 19 every single night. Class 4A at Muncie Central, Mount Vernon beat Anderson for the second time this season, and Anderson only lost 3 games all year. The Indians' season finished 21-3. They led 34-30 at the half. Javon Warfield scored 22 and Damian King 18 in their final games at Anderson. Mount Vernon is now 18-5. Future Purdue Boilermaker Luke Ertl finished with 26 points for the Marauders. And Mount Vernon will play number 2 Greenfield Central for the sectional championship. After Greenfield beat Muncie Central 50-23, Greenfield is now 23-3 on the season. They haven't won a sectional since 1999. All-American Braylon Mullins finished with 25 points. All-State candidate Mikey Johnson, 19 for Greenfield. Muncie Central actually led 12-7 at the end of the first and 19-11 in the second quarter before Greenfield Central scored 20 straight points and was never challenged again. Freshman Jackson Johnson scored 12 for the Bearcats. They have a very nice future ahead of them. Lots of young kids in that lineup. Greenfield Central beat Mount Vernon 60-55 at Mount Vernon on January 11th. Expect a great championship in that one. And Sectional 7 at Kokomo, it was Harrison in a bit of an upset over Lafayette Jeff, 55-51. It was actually Harrison's second win over Jeff this season in 3 games. Ray Gibson scored 19 for the Raiders, and Alonzo Clausen-Smith 19 for the Broncos. And Harrison will play Kokomo for the sectional championship at Memorial Gymnasium. Kokomo will be going for its 4th straight sectional championship. The Wildcats led McCutcheon in Friday's semifinal 19-8 after the first and 39-24 at the half. Zion Bellamy and Adavian Young scored 16 points each for Kokomo. McCutcheon's Brody Baker had a game-high 28 points, also had 5 rebounds and 4 assists in the loss. Also Friday, Taylor announced that head coach Bobby Winnell has stepped down. Whoever takes over that job is going to have a fantastic team to work with next season. To college basketball, number 18 Purdue led Illinois 63-53 with 11:34 left. But Illinois outscored the Boilermakers 35-17 the rest of the way to end Purdue's regular season at 21-10 and 13-7 in the Big Ten. Trey Kaufman-Wren had a game-high 29 points for Purdue. Braden Smith, the best player in the country, finished with 18 points, 12 assists, 9 rebounds, and a steal. All 5 Illini starters scored in double figures, led by 22 from Will Riley. Ball State lost its 5th straight game and saw its season come to an end with a 79-66 loss at Miami on Friday. The Cardinals finished their season 14-17. They were led by Jamari Hill's 18 points. Miami is 23-8 and the number 2 seed in the MAC tournament beginning Thursday in Cleveland. To women's college basketball, IU was eliminated in a hard-fought 84-79 loss in the quarterfinals of the Big Ten tournament against second-ranked USC. The Hoosiers led 46-45 on a Caroline Strickland layup, but the Trojans are 27-2 for a reason. and responded and led the entire fourth quarter. Yarden Garzone led in the Hoosiers with 23 points and 8 rebounds, and Chloe Moore McNeil added 17 points, 8 rebounds, and 7 assists in the loss. USC advances to play Michigan. They were led by National Player of the Year frontrunner Juju Watkins, who had 31 points, 10 rebounds, 6 assists, and 3 steals. Probably not the end of the Hoosiers. We expect to see them in the NCAA tournament. That draw will be out next week. Also advancing in the Big Ten tournament to Saturday semifinals were number 13 Ohio State. The Buckeyes beat Iowa 60-59 on Cody McMahon's free throw with 6 seconds left. And number 4 UCLA beat Nebraska 85-74 behind 28 points, 13 rebounds, 7 block shots, 5 assists, and 3 steals from the incredible Lauren Betts. To college baseball, IU split a doubleheader in the Hoosiers' first 2 Big Ten games. They lost 15-9 in the opener and won 17-6 in 8 innings in the nightcap against Penn State. Corbin Dickerson from Jeffersonville was 3 for 8 with a home run, 4 runs scored, and 3 RBIs in the 2 games. Purdue opened Big Ten play with a 6-3 win over Minnesota. The 12-1 Boilermakers jumped out to a 5-0 lead thanks to RBI singles by Lucas Cook, Houston Russell, and Eli Anderson, and then a 2-run home run from Logan Sutter. The Boilermakers and Gophers play again Saturday at 7. Ball State opened MAC play with a 3-1 win over Western Michigan in Muncie. Senior catcher Garrett Arnold's 3-run double accounted for all of the scoring in the first inning for the Cardinals, and sophomore Keegan Johnson allowed just 1 run on 4 hits and struck out 8 in 7 1/3 innings. Indiana Wesleyan is 8-5 after sweeping a doubleheader against Bethel 11-3 and 5-2 in Marion. The Wildcats have won 4 of 5 and play Bethel twice more on Saturday. In college softball, IU swept a split doubleheader 14-0 over IU Indy and 11-3 over Bowling Green. The Hoosiers host Western Michigan and Bowling Green again Saturday in Bloomington. Ball State also swept a split doubleheader, beating Bellarmine 5-1 and Stonehill 12-3 in Louisville. The Cardinals face Evansville on Saturday. Indiana Wesleyan had its 6-game winning streak snapped by Michigan Dearborn Friday morning, but recovered to beat Florida National 13-1 in a split doubleheader in Melbourne, Florida. The Wildcats scored 5 in the second and 7 in the third in the 5-inning win in Game 2. Maddie Martin led Indiana Wesleyan by going 2 for 3 with 3 RBIs. Bradley Bilger had a solo home run. Taylor is 9-1 after a doubleheader sweep of IU South Bend, 9-7 and 8-4. The Trojans have won 9 straight and are at Northwestern Ohio at 2 on Saturday. And Ball State's men's volleyball team fell to 9th-ranked Loyola Chicago in 4 tough sets, 22-25, 25-22, 25-22, 25-20, Thursday in Muncie. It ends 13-6 Ball State's 3-game winning streak. Looking ahead to Saturday's highlights, of course, we have the 8 local sectional championships coming up Saturday evening. We'll have lots on that coming up Sunday. We'll talk to as many coaches as we can, get reports from Michelle Garman from Frankton, and we expect to have others. Also, the Pacers are in Atlanta for the second time in 3 nights. That game's at 7:30. IU's men host Ohio State in their regular season finale, and it is a big one. That game's at 3:45 on CBS. Ohio State is 17-13. IU's 18-12. And MAC champion Ball State women, they host 6-22 Ohio on Saturday in their regular season finale. The Ball State women are 23-7. The game is scheduled for 1 and can be seen on ESPN Plus. And now you know everything we know about Central Indiana sports. Thank you so much for listening. If you're interested in seeing the Central Indiana Sports Report continue to thrive and grow, please share it with your friends and family. Central Indiana Sports Report is a product of ITG Media. And I love Susie.